First came the Spotify flop. Then Netflix fizzled. And now? Meghan Markle wants to be a pop star? You heard that right.
We discussed this the other day on your excellent podcast. Recollections may vary. But, almost quietly, Meghan, our friend Meghan, this week made the most astonishing announcement, which was effectively, as ever, right, the sort of sad, simpering sequel to that non-starter American Riviera Orchard. So what was it, for a year and a half or something? American Riviera Orchard, I'm going to sell you my jam and my honey, and it's going to be, here's a TV show. Oh, wait a minute, I can't call it American Riviera Orchard. All right, then, got a new name, as ever. How's that? Yeah. That'll do. This was, 2 months ago? Buy my jam, buy my honey. It's only $14 a jar. Ooh, that's cheap. 2 months on from that, this week, she announced effectively she's closing up shop, shutting up shop. As ever is never. It's over. As never. There's no happy ever after for as ever. She's literally closed it down. She said, I might. What did she say? Most extraordinary, remarkable statement. She said, I'm stepping back to figure out what as ever could be. What are you talking? Don't you think, Meghan? Just maybe you should have figured out what as ever could be before you launched the business? Is it me, or is that kind of incoherent thinking, dysfunctionalism of the highest order? The dysfunctional Duchess who she says she runs businesses, the woman couldn't run a bath.
Well, no, because she's allegedly, potentially being sued for her bath salts that she promoted on Netflix. So I wouldn't trust her around bathwater either. That's a very good point. When it comes, so the quote she actually said, first of all, I just want to say, this Fast Company profile, while you read it and you can tell
Fast Company, just let me explain. Fast Company is the magazine. She gave an interview in which she made this extraordinary revelation. That's what we're talking about. And so it's Fast Company magazine. Sorry, Kinsey, carry on.
Yeah. The Fast Company magazine profile, even though you can tell that the journalist is in on telling Meghan's side of things and is eager to share Meghan's version of events, this is very one-sided, no challenging whatsoever. I truly feel like this set Meghan back. Despite the butt kissing, this really seems to have started people like you and I. First of all, you can tell she's speaking directly to us, and this is classic Harry and Meghan utilizing their friends in the media to respond to criticism. Every week I was talking to you, when is she going to restock? When is she going to restock? So this is her way to answer some of her critics, and she did say she was stepping back to figure things out. She says she's planning to announce new products in the first quarter of 2026. But anyone in their right mind looks at the momentum that was built and the chaos surrounding the launch after launch after launch of products from Meghan. First of all, she kicks off the new year as Tiggy Legberg, Pettifer now, as she loses her stepson, I believe, in the horrific New Orleans attacks. We believe that Tiggy is Archie's godmother. We know that Tiggy is very important to Harry and Prince William because she was their nanny and really loved on them after the death of Princess Diana. She loses an important member of her family, and that's the day Meghan decides to launch her Instagram account. And with this Instagram account, she leaks and she lets us know what's going on with her professionally. We find out about As Ever through this Instagram account just a few days after that accident that involved Tiggy's son. And then we get back to back With Love, Meghan, Confessions of a Female Founder, As Ever, Meghan launching affiliate links through her Instagram account where she's selling some of the clothes she's wearing, some of her favorite makeup products. She gets a cut from everything she sells if you shop through these affiliate links. She starts doing more and more media. I mean, she's done more media this year, I think, than she has since she stepped away from the British royal family. She's had 5 years to determine what she wants As Ever to be. She had 2 years, we were all masked up and stuck in our homes to create some sort of strategy. And this Fast Company profile has really highlighted the instability that surrounds this brand.
Yeah.
What we loved about Queen Elizabeth was that stability, was the comfort we had in knowing that we were going to get what we got. We just were so confident in her. She never let us down.
After 2 major media deals face-planted, Meghan's reportedly eyeing a music career. Is this desperation, reinvention, or just another royal PR move gone wild?
And Harry and Meghan are so unstable to the point where you feel like you're on a roller coaster. They try to celebrate this in a way when they talk about she's got a lot of titles these days in the profile: Duchess of Sussex, a podcaster, a philanthropist, a children's book author, the star of a Netflix show, the founder of a direct-to-consumer startup. There's no consistency there. You're all over the place.
Yeah, and actually, you just reeled off that blizzard of titles she gives herself. But actually, now that As Ever has shut up shop, her podcast, her dreadfully dull podcast, which was a flop, Confessions of a Female Founder, that kind of ended this week amid a sea of apathy all over the world. Nobody gave a damn about that. That won't be back. They say there might be a 3rd series of With Love, Meghan. Frankly, Kinsey, I'll believe that when I see it. I don't see that happening at all. So she got nothing going on. She got a blizzard of titles, but nothing going on. Now,
we should acknowledge the podcast. They say in this, again, I think that they set her back with this fast. I think that we have to acknowledge how much this Fast Company article set her back. They say there's interest in doing a 2nd season of Confessions of a Female Founder, and many female founders have approached her to be a guest on the series, but this is a huge but, this sentence that follows, but Meghan is now involved in such a wide range of projects.
Nothing.
She's sure to find some way to tell her story. That is Meghan's out. That last sentence. She's sure to find a way. There were only 800,000 downloads since Meghan started her podcast in April.
She's pathetic. We got a clip from it. This is her signing.
Well, don't do that to me yet. Don't do that to me yet.
All right, go on then.
Lemonada's ad partner is Gretchen Rubin Media, and they generally pay between $25 to $50 per 1,000 downloads. Meghan would get the high end because of name recognition, but based on the analytics that Fast Company gives us, Meghan's made approximately $40,000 for season 1. That's not Spotify money. That's not billionaire status. That's too much work for Meghan to do.
That doesn't even pay for her
paycheck.
full-time nanny, does it?
No.
I mean, for God's sake.
I think that she would be so disappointed by those numbers that she would call it a day and say it's too much work, it's too much criticism. I don't feel like there's enough value in that. And in that last podcast episode, she talks about this fear of not having enough money. Some people have been like, oh, Meghan says she feels guilty for being rich. That's not that guilt mentality. I don't hear that at all. I hear the sentence, there's a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
There's a scarcity mindset. I'll never have enough.
Yeah. I think she feels.
We witnessed that with all of these brands coming out.
I think she feels guilty for not having enough money, not having money. Let's have a look at this. Apparently, I haven't seen it myself, but apparently this is sort of the end of Confessions of a Female Founder. The closing statement. Drum roll. Here it comes.
Let's break it down. Meghan Markle's $20 million Spotify deal was supposed to be the crown jewel of her media empire.
And through it all, I'm building a business of my own and getting all sorts of practical advice along the way that I'm very excited to share with you. So join me for Confessions of a Female Founder from Lemonada Media, which, by the way, is also female-founded. Launching April 8th, wherever you get your podcasts. Let's do this.
Well, that was supposed to be the closing statement. That looked like the beginning statement. Can we get the closing statement, please? Anyway, the point is, we'll come back to that. Nice bit of professionalism there. Not the closing statement, the opening statement. But here we are. When she's announcing, Kinsey, the end of As Ever, which, as I say, I still find absolutely jaw-dropping. The whole backbone, the bedrock of everything she's been doing for the past 2 years, bang, didn't work, right, over. This is what she said in this interview with Fast Company magazine. It was, so she said, if I had to write a resume, I don't know what I would call myself, because she's so busy, she's got so many things going on. So when she said, if I had to write a resume, I don't know what I would call myself, I was thinking, well, I've got a few ideas, but this is a family show, so let's keep it clean. But seriously, she then goes on to say this gobbledygook, this sort of psychobabble Californian claptrap. No offence to your fine state, used to live there myself, but you know what I'm talking about.
I'm a Texan.
Yeah, there you go. There are people who live in California who speak in a strange kind of way, and she's one of them. It's not really English, it's gobbledygook. This is what she said. If I had to write a resume, I don't know what I'd call myself. I think it speaks to this chapter many of us find ourselves in, where none of us are one note, but I believe all the notes I am playing are part of the same song. So I'll just read that again in English. I think
Please don't.
I think it speaks to this chapter many of us find ourselves in, where none of us are one note, but I believe all the notes I am playing are part of the same song. What does that even mean? Does she know?
I think it means Meghan Markle, season 574 of The Masked Singer. Apparently, Meghan wants to be a pop star now. Talking a lot about notes. I don't know. I don't know. I think that, again, I feel like she talks to people like us through a lot of these interviews, and she's talking to her critics, and the power of yet. She's not successful yet. I don't know if you remember that.
Did she say the power of yet?
Yes, the power of yet. She's not successful yet. This hasn't happened yet, which was she actually stole from a 2014 TED Talk. She ripped that off from a 2014 TED Talk. So it's not even original. Even no matter how annoying it is, it's still not an original thought. I think she's trying to make excuses for her failures. And Fast Company magazine is not where you do that. I think this interview really set her back. But I have noticed through all the interviews she's done in 2025 and the podcasts, I think that she prefers to be interviewed. I don't think she likes to interview people because she's so obsessed with talking about herself.
Yeah,
she doesn't
I
like
agree with that.
being criticized for the way she hijacks interviews. And I just don't think she liked the podcast process.
But after just one season of Archetypes, it was abruptly cancelled. Even Spotify execs labeled the show a flop. Meanwhile, her Netflix deal, though hyped, only produced one major documentary. And the rest? Radio silence. This wasn't the power couple Hollywood expected.
No, I totally agree. But as I say, she doesn't. Confessions of a Founder, I can't see that coming back because it has failed. It fell out of the top 100 podcast charts in about 6 seconds and is now at around about number 500,000 in the world. So hardly anybody watched or listened to that. I don't think they've already filmed the second series of With Love, Meghan for Netflix. Well, they filmed that at the same time as the first series, so they might as well screen it. They'll screen it in September. But the numbers, the ratings for the first series were pretty feeble, so they're only going to screen it because they've got it. They got it in the can. And I suspect that this talk of a third series is coming straight out of the Meghan spin machine. I don't think that's going to happen. So no podcast, no lifestyle site as ever business, no TV series, nothing. She's got nothing going on. She is right down there with her husband when it comes to a nada lifestyle. She's got nothing going on.
Ted Sarandos has no reason to continue to protect her if she violates violates the contract or violates the relationship that Netflix has with As Ever. You know, she talks a lot about this partnership. I think still at the end of the day, Netflix is her boss. And if she really throws As Ever to the side or doesn't make it a priority, then Netflix has no reason to continue to stroke her ego with this series that was just absolutely destroyed by the critics. And the way that here's my argument. Meghan was so quick to tell us there was a season 2 coming of Meghan with Love Meghan on Netflix. Where is the announcement about Confessions of a Female Founder? Now, I've argued that I think she shut down the criticism of With Love Meghan by prematurely announcing season 2 was on the way, so the people that were parodying her and people that were poking fun at her would have to shut up because there was a new headline on the horizon. But she announced her relationship with Limonada over a year before she actually produced an episode for them. It took her, over a year to produce 8 episodes for them. They announced that so early on in their relationship. Why wouldn't they announce that season 2 was coming? Why are we still waiting for that?
Why would there be a season 2? I mean, it was unlistenable, unwatchable. It was boring. It was toweringly tedious. And the ratings, the viewing figures or the consumer figures revealed that. You know, people were bored. It was boring. You know, it was her idea of, you know, she's a successful tycoon. I'll talk to other female successful tycoons. Now, they may well be that. She's not. She's not a successful tycoon. She wants to be, but she sure as hell isn't. Meanwhile, where's old Ginger Nuts? While her world falls apart at the seams, his world barely exists anymore. So he suddenly, while his dad, the king, his estranged father, the king, was staging his triumphant state visit to Canada, a real triumph. Harry tries to steal a few headlines, steal the limelight on his dad, by flying to China, his first ever visit to China. Shanghai, the Shanghai surprise. It was a surprise. He turned up. They didn't expect it to. He went there for Trip.com and apparently also in tandem
I wish you wouldn't have said that, because I feel like that's why people hire him, for that one reference, that they're getting their money's worth. We just advertise the people, because I think he was paid for this trip.
Oh,
I refuse to say it. If I think that they're getting paid for it, I won't even acknowledge the brand. I'm just like, idiot showed up in China.
Well, yeah, Idiot showed up in China, and it was also to promote his company that he allegedly co-founded. Yeah, right. Called Travelist, which is a company that promotes environmentally friendly travel. So you travel the world, but you don't damage the planet. So it's in Shanghai. How do you think he got there? Do you think he went by sailboat? Or did he go first class on a planet-destroying passenger jet, or even worse, on a private jet? This guy is a world-class hypocrite, isn't he?
Look, I think that there is a lot of truth to the Mail on Sunday's piece about Prince Harry. Yes, he's a hypocrite, absolutely. But when we talk about where Prince Harry is at right now mentally, I really believe the Mail on Sunday piece about how Prince Harry is obsessed with his negative press, increasingly weary of the negative publicity he and Meghan have attracted.
And now it seems the Sussex's media bubble is bursting. This wouldn't be the first time a celebrity reinvented themselves. But for Meghan, the stakes are higher. Reputation, credibility, and media relationships are on the line. Is this a calculated career pivot? Or is the Duchess just grasping at straws?
And here you have a great example of your actions attracting those negative headlines.
Yes, exactly.
You want to talk about sustainability? Well, I know that you just
Zoom. Try Zoom.
12,000, yeah, Zoom. Between 12,000 and maybe 14,000 miles to have this conversation in person that could have been an email. You know,
Or,
it could have been
or Zoom. He didn't have to fly there. And as I say, you just know he either went first class, which is really environmentally unfriendly, or even worse, private jet. He didn't go by sailboat. He didn't go on a bicycle, trust me. So that is hypocrisy incarnate. We can, though, drum roll, don't get too excited, but we can bring you a little exit from the pompous climate change speech he made. Check it out.
Firstly, I want to thank Trip.com Group for inviting me to be here with you today. Trip.com's mission statement, which is to pursue the perfect trip for a better world, is closely aligned to our commitment to travellers.
What a load of crap. And he just made all this thing about, oh, it's critical, we've got to save the planet, climate change, climate change. Yeah, this is the guy who, when he went to play polo in Colorado from California, where he lives, Santa Barbara Airport, he went to the airport to get onto his private jet. Not very ecological, really, and realised, so stupid is he, he'd forgotten his polo kit. So he sent a limousine back to his mansion in Montecito, a journey of about 40 minutes apparently, to pick up his kit, bring it back to the airport. All the time on the runway, this private jet is roaring away, damaging the planet. Then he gets into it, flies to Colorado, and then he flies a private jet back. And he's lecturing us about saving the planet. Do me a favour, Kinsey. That's outrageous, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll tell him where he can shove that polo equipment. You know what I loved about the Sun on Sunday was they said it's time to streamline his operations when they were talking about all these new hires, all these new white people that have come on board to work for Harry and Meghan. It's time to streamline his operation and find a way of getting his message across. Service above oneself is the cornerstone of everything he does. Listening to him on stage in China, I didn't hear that. I suspect he was paid for that appearance because that's a very far, it's a very long way to go and be away from your family who you sit on international television and say are in danger. Yeah. So to go away from your family and be so far away for a significant amount of time, there has to be something in it for this man. Mm-hmm. When you think about him standing on a stage, being paid to talk about climate change and the way he got there, you realize that this is not about a life of service. And you think about King Charles, who has cancer and heard the call from Canada. And yes, he got on a plane too. But, King Charles has lived this life of service and truly does live this life of service. And there's Harry, who's going to interrupt the king's big trip by showing up in China unannounced to lecture us on something that he doesn't even do himself.
Exactly right. To be honest with you, the one thing I'll say about the King and Prince William, who also lecture the hell out of us about climate change, they're hypocrites as well. I mean, the King's air miles every year are just extraordinary. William, to go about 5 miles, he gets a helicopter. So I don't listen to a word these...
I'd rather look at William, though, if we're being honest.
I don't listen to a word those royals say, but Harry in particular, don't you tell us about saving the planet, what we've got to do when you're doing the square root of sod all. In fact, you're making the planet much worse by flying around it on private jets.
If you're enjoying the breakdown so far, hit that subscribe button. We cover stories like this every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Meghan Markle's story continues to twist and turn. Whether her pop star ambitions become a chart-topping reality or another headline flop, only time will tell. One thing's for sure, Hollywood loves a comeback, and the internet never forgets. What do you think? Is this Meghan's next big move or her biggest mistake yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.